Noel Liu. This is another segment of our Secure Dental podcast. Today, I'm joined by one of our ex-associate, Dr. Alex Shore. Dr. Alex Shore joined us back in 2019, and today we are at his practice, Signature Art Smiles. So Dr. Shore, welcome, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
been a ride. I know it's been a ride. It's been like, what, 5 years? 4 years?
Yeah.
4 years, right? So introduce and just tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get started?
Yeah.
Like, what prompted you to go to dental school? What got you into dental school and out? And then after that, how did you find us?
So I was originally born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I went to undergraduate at Michigan State University, and I had really no intentions of leaving ever.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I wasn't really like super thrilled about my smile. I had kind of like crowding over my, classic orthodontic problems, self-esteem issues. And I really had great providers growing up. My pediatric dentist was awesome. My orthodontist was awesome. My general dentist was awesome. So dentistry was never a scary thing to me. But when I saw kind of like how it changed me,
Okay.
I realized that was an art, right? To change somebody through tooth movement, and just the simplest little thing can lead to self-esteem, confidence.
Is that what prompted you to
Right.
dental school?
And it really hit me when I saw my before and after pictures, because my father was a photographer and we had a lot of art around the house. And when I saw before and after pictures, it clicked. All those years of being around him and all those years of bad teeth, and then seeing it, I'm like, that was the art.
Okay.
The art was the canvas. I was the canvas. So that was what led me to get into dentistry. At age 14, I said, this could help. I could help other people.
14.
At 14, I knew when I got my braces off, I said, this is it. This is my calling. It was just too many things had lined up, and that was my calling, and that was it.
So, like, I always believe that there is a thing that shaped your life. So what happened between the age of 14 till the age when you decided to say, hey, I want to go and sit for the dental exam? What kind of life did you have?
Well, I mean, I can't say that I had like a super big struggle or anything, but I had parents who pushed me to always strive for one ounce better. Whether it was a B plus on a test, it wasn't good enough. It had to be an A minus. Whether it was, got a driver's license, guess what? Now you got to get a job. Got to fill the tank. So it was always that humble reality check that I always had every
So you never got it like on a platter.
No, and I gotta really credit my parents a lot for that. They were the ones. They were the ones who always made me dig a little deeper, right?
Okay.
And go a little farther and go the extra mile. And your best is never great enough. You can always be better. You can always improve. And it was every step of life, because when I got to college,
right,
it was for undergraduate. It was go get a job, go work 29 hours a week, go get involved. And that was ingrained in me from just being around them from 14 to 18. And
did you hate them for that? Or
at the time, it was a little extreme, right?
Yeah.
But now I look back at it and I say, without that constant push on the shoulder, you're not going to the next level. You're not going to ever look back and peel back the layers and say, what can I do more? What can I do better? If I'm here, how do I go to the next step? How do I step forward? So that was kind of between the dental boards and 14. It was always that, hey, if you want...
So that gave you the baseline and the base work, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The framework of how to just continuously strive for more.
So now, did that help you in decision making? Because I see a lot of people struggling to decide, right? So what's your take on that? Like from 14 till dental school, what was the path that you took? Because I'm trying to get a sense of where was it that click point maybe can help somebody else, like if they can do it, down the road in their life. So what was that aspect, or was it like series of scenarios or situations?
I think it was maturity. Like as a kid, I was not super decisive. But
okay.
As
fair.
As like kind of life happened and those constant pushes on the shoulder and, go do this, be better. And just social experiences, I think a lot of it was like the friends I picked, the people I surrounded myself with. I always felt like I was around people who were more decisive, more driven, and more goal focused than I was. And it was a great thing, because you just always kind of wanted to rise to the level of your friends. It's always kind of like you're good as the company you keep.
Exactly.
And that was one of those ones for me that like I kept great company and I had great friends. I'm still very good friends with them today. And they're they're not dentists, but they're doing great in their own line of work, right? And they're
right.
and they just constantly have this like hunger and like this drive to keep moving forward. So like,
it seems like you had all this instilled in you when you were growing up.
It's every step of the way, right?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be around bad people if my parents also at the same
Exactly.
my family surrounded themselves with great, successful people, and it wasn't like fate. It was always like these are the choices they make, right? The choices you make are the choices that define you, kind of deal.
Oh, I'm just going to interrupt you for a little bit. So it's like basically your parents pushed you.
Mm-hmm.
You had all these mentors and all these people that you hung around with,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of prompted you to be a little bit more decisive, a little bit more taking your life under control.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Kind of deal. You just did not let life take over you. Basically.
No.
At a very early age. Right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what happened to me was I was always, even when I got to undergraduate, it was, you don't just go to school and go to the honors college. And nobody's going to do your homework for you but you.
Right.
Nobody's going to take those tests but you. So it all kind of like funnels through you. It was like, how bad do you want it? And when I got to college, the first step, because you got to do the first step to go to the second step, as you know. So I think somebody kind of mentioned to me, and I can't remember who it was, everyone around you is your competition, but not in a bad way. Like, go chop their knees out.
Healthy competition, right?
Right. Like, it's like you want to make sure that you stand out. You want to make sure that you are doing everything you can to give yourself the best chance to be accepted in a program when you got other people that want the same thing you do. And the other thing was the humility aspect. It's like I never complained about anything or how much work I had to do or how much I had to study, because there's always somebody who wants it more than you do. There's somebody who's dying to take your spot if you get into that program of your
perception.
Yeah.
Right. Love it.
So it's like when there was always those humble reality checks of like, I'm not going to complain about doing homework and sitting for the board exam because this is a blessing, man, to even do it. And there's somebody who is struggling to even get to where you are, who would kill to have your spot, your chance, your opportunity. So those are the things that I kind of always remind myself of.
And I think that's the kind of mentality that you got, like, you're so appreciative of whatever you have.
Yeah.
Right. And you just want to keep striving for it, to keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's my thing, right? I like to believe that if you're not growing, you're shrinking. So you have this mentality. So tell me two things, right? Taking charge or being a victim?
Well,
because I see your mentality. You want to take charge, and like, I just want your take on it. Like, how would you define like taking charge of your life versus letting life take charge of you?
I always have kind of lived and died by the mindset that those who act and those who react.
Okay.
To react means you're letting something happen to you and you have to figure it out. To act is you're going to set the stage for yourself, and it's always easier to be acting. Right. It's always easier to charge, as opposed to rebuild. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I kind of bring that into everything I've ever done, right? Whether it was a sport I played or a fraternity I joined or a leadership role I took.
So you always had this competitive, mindset, right?
Yeah, and it was you just want to be the best version of yourself. You don't. You want to give it your all and leave nothing on the table and say, I wish I would have done this differently, or I wish I wouldn't have waited or pondered, or it was an opportunity I missed because I was complacent. And those are the things that, like, in today, you just remind yourself, it's like you have to continue to be the charge.
Exactly.
Not let it take charge of you.
Exactly. Because if not you, then who else?
Exactly.
Right.
I would always tell you that when I work for you. If not me, then who? Exactly. It's like, you got to do it, or else it's going to go somewhere else.
So let's fast forward. You're in dental school.
Yes.
So now you got in. Like, how hard was it for you to get in the first place?
Well, I was not a stellar student. I was very involved socially in undergraduate. And I never ever wanted to make school priority 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
I wanted, like most people do, balance. You want to balance your life and your social life and all that stuff. But school is my job, and my parents reminded me, school is your job. Mm-hmm. This is your full-time job, and if your full-time job is done, then you can go do whatever you want. And I took that seriously. And I did school well. I was, a stellar student, but not a stellar test taker. So the DET for me was a challenge. My scores were very average, straight middle of the bell curve, right? And like that doesn't stand on paper. So I was lucky enough to do one round of applications to get into the school, the number one school I wanted to go to, which was Michigan.
Right.
And but it was a struggle. Applied at 15 schools, get interviews at 4. Which means your odds are getting into 2, maybe. And ironically enough, I I told myself, you get this interview, they already know that you're qualified. Now you got to blow them away. Now you have to interview. And this is what's going to separate you as a person. Jump off the paper. My story. I got an hour to knock somebody dead.
Did you get in the first round?
I did.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But it was not December 1 like everyone's fairy tale. December 1, you wake up, you get the call.
Yeah.
But you got in. I interviewed at 2 of my 4 schools before December 1. I was waitlisted from both.
Oh, wow.
So here I was on December 2nd saying, I didn't get in. I don't have any more interviews. Start a gap year. I was already starting to fill out the paperwork of the master's program. I was already starting to figure out, draw my life as no is never the final answer in life. Don't let a bad event define you. Kind of move forward and try your best to get into the next cycle.
All in the mindset.
Right. But these are the things that are you're preparing. I wasn't preparing to get in because, you're reading all these dental forms, the student doctor network, and people get in, and the class is full. And we all knew the opportunity of a post-December thing, but the way they make it sound is it's very limited and very thin, and you can't bank on that. So I wasn't going to. And I fast forward to actually the day before Christmas Eve. I was doing a part-time job delivering flowers just to make some money on the break, right? Because I was
you were working as well before dental school.
Yeah. On my breaks, I would come home, and instead of taking a month off of school, I'd just go pick up a part-time job for a month. So I was doing flower delivery.
So let's go back in time again a little bit.
Yeah.
How many different kind of jobs did you do before dental school?
I worked at 4 different restaurants. I worked from busboy to line chef.
Because that's important. This sets the tone of your work ethics. This sets the tone of, workability and grinding it out.
I did delivery driving on my breaks, like I just kind of been mentioned.
Right.
I did collegiate baseball umpiring and high school baseball umpiring on the weekend. So my weekend job was working all tournaments. And then my day job was I would, during the summers, I would work. I was a store manager for a coffee shop, and I was in the restaurant industry before that, just working my way up the ranks. So I had probably 8 or 9 jobs and a few odd jobs, even part-time ones that don't make it on the resume.
Yeah.
For years. Probably from the time I was 15 to 22.
So 8 or 9 jobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was kind of just part of growing up. My parents were never going to give you $20 to put your gas tank. You had to earn $20 to put your gas tank. They weren't going to give you going out money with your friends to go to the movie. You had to earn it. Kind of teach you the value of what work takes.
So you really valued dental school by the time you got in?
By the time I got there, I realized when I was looking around, a lot of these people just never worked. They never had we can get into that later, but they never really had someone tell them no before.
Right.
Go to that job where their manager
disappointment.
Yeah, where their manager is just rude and they're working in a restaurant for $8 an hour.
Yeah.
And you worked 8 hours and you're covered in grease or somebody's food residue.
Right.
And you got paid $90. It was the hardest to earn $90 a year week, right? So it's
but you understood value of money.
I understood, and I told myself in dental school, there's always something worse out there. I just went through it. What if you worked in the restaurants for the rest of your life? What if you didn't get the great chance to be a doctor? Right? And you got to figure it out. It puts perspective in you. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those jobs. I'm just saying those jobs are hard work, and we take those every day. You go to the restaurant, you don't realize these people are on their feet all day. These people have been busting it, and they're not making zillions of dollars here. They're making the wage they're making.
I feel like it just brings humility in a lot of people's character. Once when you do these kind of jobs, or you realize what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that was the thing that drove me, was kind of I had a tough day at dental school, for example. I was I was cleaning puke off floors a few years ago. This is nothing. This is a great day. I put on scrubs. I got to help somebody.
It's all perception.
Yeah. So that was those driving things that kind of reality checked me.
Which is why I always feel like if you've not done an odd job or any other job before dental school or before medical school, it's always a tough battle.
Oh yeah. But it's not impossible. It's just more.
It's a mindset.
It's mindset.
It's a mindset switch, right?
Yeah.
So now you're in dental school, you got out, you're graduating, right? So now
it was the post-December thing. And I was planning a year off, right? And then during one of my odd jobs.
So you thought you were not going to get it?
I wasn't banking on it. Based on everything I've been told, it was just, that first wave and first round application, they're filling 60 to 70% of their seats.
Wow.
Right? And I wasn't thinking if I'm average, I'm not in the test column. I'm not going to be part of the 30.
Right.
And, you know, I only had one in-state school left that I didn't hear from. It was Michigan, #1 school in the country at the time. And I'm like, you know, like as if they're going to hear me if the other two waitlisted me. And I'm driving on a route at one of my odd jobs, and it's December 23rd. This is the last drop off before Christmas Eve and it's holidays. And I get a call from the University of Michigan admissions department saying, we want you to interview. And I just said, are you sure? I called myself, like, are you sure about this? It's after December. They go, yeah, we do post-December interviews. It's great. It'll be great. I said, yeah, sure. You know what? I'll do it. You know, I'll come in and I'll do the interview. And it was January 28th. It's the last day. It was our last day of interviews. January 28th. It'll be the last day. And I hang up the phone and I'm just thinking to myself, I have nothing to lose at this point because I was already preparing and I don't really know if it's going to go. I don't really know if this is it. I don't really know if this is just like a courtesy.
Right.
I'm in state and I live here and I grew up here and they're just trying to maybe vet me out for next year.
Right.
Like, I don't really know that. So what had happened to me is that like my mindset changed during the interview. I said, you know, I got nothing to lose. I had my shoulders down. The first two, I was kind of tense.
Right.
Being nervous. This one, I was like, you know, I don't really know. I'm going to just go in there and have some fun with it. And I went in and they did this interview style called multiple mini interviews. So they're not asking questions about you. They're asking you like topics.
Right.
One of the topics I remember was something about, do you think it's right that tobacco companies use gummy bear flavor to target their nicotine towards the younger crowd? And I don't even remember how I answered.
Right.
But what I do remember is that was every interview. It was every stage. And I got in the car, and it was the same routine. My father would always come with me to interviews. It was Wisconsin, we go together. If we were in Detroit, we go together. We do the pickup and drop off, and we would just debrief, go get dinner. He picked me up from this one in Ann Arbor, and he said, how'd it go? And I went, I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea. They didn't talk about me. I didn't talk about me. It was more like an IQ test, like a personality test.
Right.
And I said, I'm not sure if that's going to work in my favor or not, but I was talking and I was hanging out. And I got a call 4 days later that I got in. And, you know, like the parameters in my brain were like, it's hard to wrap my mind around. Like, you got in to your top choice after December and one of the most prestigious programs in the country. And here I was counting my chickens saying, I got to go another year. I got to take a master's program. I got to do all this stuff. It was really like humbling in a way that you were kind of like, here I was already counting myself out, like of the whole cycle, ready to do the next cycle. I wasn't going to quit. I was ready to do next cycle, and then this happens, and it made me realize it's not done till it's done. Nothing is over till it's over, and you never know the chance that's waiting behind another door, and a random day delivering flowers to turn into the opportunity of a lifetime. So it's just one of those weird doors opened up.
This is what we always keep saying. Always show up.
Yeah.
You always got to show up, regardless whatever the consequences or whatever the outcome, right? You always got to show up. One thing I liked about what you just said, the interview process, right? What I feel like it's because you were relaxed, you really didn't care about the outcome.
Yeah.
So your answers must have been like very relaxed state. And secondly, whatever your past job was, all the odd jobs that you had, that kind of give you that perspective of life, like, you know, how the whole process works. Because that kind of ruled you out from the other candidates who, like, you know, just got everything ready, like about themselves and about the school.
Right.
You know, it was like a curveball, that if you ask me.
Well, it was,
and you handled it pretty well because you have experience in life, which a lot of people don't.
Right. And I think a lot of what had happened to me at that point was I kind of went in and I just thanked them all for their time. I never done that in another interview, but I just said, you know what, I want to thank you for your time today, and I'm just happy you would consider me.
That's huge.
And I said that for every station. And I wasn't scripting that. I was just, at that point, I was so out on myself. Right. You know, like a little shook up about being a post-December admit, or even just being there after some people had already gotten in. Like I was second choice, or
Right.
But I didn't let it get to me. I just, you know, say, hey, I really want to thank you for your consideration and the matter of even being here,
that matters.
right? And so that was dental school and the application process in my journey. But, you know, some people get in first round, they get 15 schools to pick from, and life's good.
Yeah.
So everybody's got a different journey.
Everybody's got a different experience, yeah. So your whole dental school journey.
Yeah.
Pretty easy, pretty tough.
And it kind of goes back to what we were saying. I came in there with I came in there with a very relaxed state, but also this chip on their shoulder state. Like, hey man, you weren't the first pick.
Yeah.
You were like a 5th round draft pick for them.
Yeah.
So now you got to show them why you should have been number 1. And I brought that in every day. In the sim lab, I'd stay the latest. In clinicals, I'd get there the earliest, right? My patient was at 9, I'd get there at 8. And then I changed my whole life around this.
I was getting one.
I was one of them. But there were other people just like me, and I'm not going to say there weren't.
Oh, okay.
But then I changed my whole life around this. I said, you're going to take charge now. You're going to be a 5 a.m. riser. I was sleeping until 9 o'clock in undergrad. So now it's, 5 a.m. I get up, work out. I took charge of my life, and I wanted to be up 4 hours before my patients were there.
Nice.
I'd get there an hour early. I'd look through their charts. I'd look through stuff. And I made sure I was the first one there. And if I had to be the last one to do my lab work, I was staying that night to get it done. I wasn't going to let it go to the weekend or the next day if I could avoid it. Obviously, there are certain things you can't avoid.
Right.
But a lot of it was just prove yourself now. You got the chance and don't let them down. And I remember what my dad would tell me all the time. He goes, Alex, there were 3,000 applicants, 300 interviews, and 100 spots. Wow. That means by the numbers, there are 2,900 people that want to be sitting where you are. So don't let it happen. And the dad drove me every day to be kind of like, someone wants your spot, don't complain. Someone wants to work harder than you in the same spot you are, so work harder than them. And keep your nose down and be humble. Like, I wasn't sitting there trying to cut my classmates' knees out.
Correct.
I just focused on myself.
So there was never a point where you felt like you were entitled.
No, I felt
like you always felt like you were working for it every single day.
I felt that because I wasn't in the first round, that I had proved myself to the day I graduated. Right. And I wanted to prove myself.
Man. That's huge.
And I wanted to almost kind of revalidate myself in my head.
Right.
Like, you did it. You got through. You pushed hard. You gave it everything you got. You did not leave anything on the table. You didn't slack.
Right.
You didn't. In my patients, it was the same way when we finally got the clinicals. I wanted to show these people that I'm in it for them. Nice. Just like the reason why I got in. I'm in it for them. I want to help as best as possible. Anyway, whether it was staying late, repairing their denture in the emergency clinic, didn't matter. It was anything I could do. Give them a call after their appointment. I called every single one of my patients after I did a procedure on them. When they got home, it was 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. On my way home walking, I'd call the 2 people I saw.
Customer service.
Yeah. Because the point is that to me was, you can't forget why you got in. You have to remember it. That's what my dentist would have done to me.
Correct.
So I was, you got to be the reflection of what you want to see in the mirror, right?
You just provided extra care.
Exactly.
So it's a people's business, right? So, we definitely have to keep that in mind.
Dental school was a prove-it mind. It was a prove-it time for me. It was proven. You got your chance, now don't let it slip through your fingers.
So now graduation. What was going through your mind? What's next?
Well,
did you ever consider GPR or specialty?
I did apply, but I wasn't, GPRs are competitive, everything's competitive. And this is pre-COVID where everything was very, still by the book is competitiveness.
Correct.
2 seats at a program. I didn't take it seriously. I applied maybe 1 or 2 programs to get in. And I figured, hey, you get networking, you found a job, somebody will hire you. You went to the best school in the country, somebody will hire you.
Right.
That was what I thought. I thought that the whole time. Someone will hire you. And luckily enough, through one of my mentors at dental school, I met a DSO doctor named Abe Gershanowitz, and he owns 11 offices at the time. I don't know if it's more or less now. He owned 11 offices in the Metro Detroit area. And he was kind enough to interview me. And I say that because when I get to the interview, he goes, I don't interview new graduates. And I went, why is that? He goes, because there's some refinement that needs to be done. Professionally and personally. And that sometimes comes from a first job. Because when you came highly regarded, and I'll take the interview. And we just had a nice talk. And we just talked about life, and we talked about goals, drives, ambitions, and he hired me on the spot. He said, but he didn't hire me to be a dentist. He said, I'm going to hire you, and I have to train you to be a provider first before anything.
Right.
So that kind of shook me in a way where I'm like, it's a little harder to get a job than I think, right? He put me out for 2 days a week, and he owns 11 offices. He could have stayed. He could have done it.
Right.
But it was just 2 days a week, and I was with him and one of his other doctors, and we were doing communication trainings. He gave me a 40-page package just how to talk to people. We were doing how to make your points clear, how to provide value in a day. If someone comes with a problem, he'd often look at me and say, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, this is, and he goes, no, you didn't answer me. What are you going to do for them now? They're a customer. How will you serve them? And that showed me a lot about myself. But during that time, I was trying to get another job because I'm only working 2 days a week. And I'm like, man, I'm bored. I'm working Monday and Saturday. And I got this whole middle of my week that's open.
Wow.
And I was getting...
That's tough.
Right, and I would apply everywhere. I'm thinking in my head, I'm number one. I went to Michigan. That's the best. That's what they're telling you in dental school. This is the best program. You can like this, that, the other thing. And nobody would hire me. I go to a job interview and they say, we want someone more experience. Go to a job interview, like, you're not there yet.
Right.
Those were common feedbacks. And I was getting just hammered with that for like 4 months after graduation. Because it's a dense market in Metro Detroit for a Michigan graduate.
Correct. And what I'm thinking here is it's more or less like when you're coming out of school, I mean, it's like the reasoning was making you go through communications, through all this hassle and all this stuff is because, new grads, when they come out of school, it's pretty much like, like a rough diamond, right? I mean, you got to get refined. I mean, the school puts it in your head that, hey, you were worth all that money, but in actuality, it's not.
Exactly. And you think, well, the academia, it almost kind of makes you think there's no one who doesn't want you.
Right.
In a weird way, it's like you are a dentist and you will serve and people will want you. The reality of the situation is, as we know too well, is when you graduate, you are not experienced. And experience is what people prefer. It's what people want.
Right.
It's a service thing.
Correct.
They don't want to be they don't want you to be the first crown. They want you to be your 1,000. People are looking on Google, they want to see all your list of accolades and how many years you've been doing it.
So what would you say like a new grad coming out, like what would be the biggest, let's say, the term I would probably use is what is the biggest investment they need to make as soon as they come out of school to be that valuable gem so that people are seeking them out and jobs are seeking them out and these guys want to go out there and say, you know what, I'm ready for prime time. What would be some of the key accolades that you think?
I would probably state that the first thing you need to look for is volume-based dentistry. And that's not what you probably thought I was going to say.
Okay.
Because repetition and how much you're doing something is what gains you experience.
Mm-hmm.
And when you graduate dental school, you think the holy grail of all grails is going to work as an associate in a private practice job. That is not true. Because a private practice job sees a very limited amount of patients a day. And maybe they don't even take all insurances. And maybe these are healthy people that aren't really doing a lot. The cleanings, maybe a couple crowns and some fillings, you're going to a limited practice. But as a graduate, you don't understand that. The place that is high volume and it sees a lot gives you the opportunity to see a lot and do 30 treatment plans a week maybe. Or maybe even do a couple dentures a week with maybe some extractions and some root canals, which we don't get a lot of experience. So like volume-based. The second part that I was building on is skill set based. Go to a place that has platforms, ask the questions.
Correct.
Can I do dentures here? Can I do root canals here? Can I go to CE like dental implant or Invisalign? And I can do it here. Now, if you go to a private practice and the doctor says, we don't do that here, you're immediately not going to do it because that's the owner doctor's decision.
Right.
But if you go to like a DSO, maybe the owner doctor, like in your example, you carry implant motors, you carry endo motors, you carry denture equipment, you carry digital scanners. The possibilities are endless, and you empower your associates to do that. So volume-based and skill set-based are what I would look for first. And the second thing is group practice. You cannot go out and be alone and expect to learn right away. You want to go where there's an established mentor or a mentoring system or someone you can be around to bounce some ideas off, because the easiest thing to happen to a new graduate is for them to get their confidence lost. And we've seen that, right?
Correct.
We've seen the confidence get shook. Something goes south, confidence goes out the window, and they're never doing it again. They roll it out of the table. And that is hard because you can't rebound when your mind's made up.
So tell me something real quick here. I see a lot of forums out there, right? These guys, they want to get paid first. They want to get paid more than what they can provide. Where do you see the reality is, and where are these guys lost in?
Well, the reality is
and what are these guys thinking that they're coming up with this mindset?
Right. Well, it's kind of like, and I'm assuming we'll get here. It's kind of like our experience together.
Yeah.
Is you told me on my first day of the job is do good work, be successful, and the money will follow. Financials will follow a successful person.
Right.
And that brought me into this mindset of I haven't done good work because I haven't done anything. I haven't pushed myself to do advanced procedures because I haven't done any.
Right.
So instead of worrying about how much money I'm going to make, why don't we just get some wins under our belt? Why don't we do a bridge that seats perfectly? Or why don't we make a denture that somebody's happy with? Or why don't we do a root canal that got the patient out of pain? Because what's going to happen is the customer will come back. Right. That's what you were trying to teach me. You win the day, and their patient will be yours forever. They're loyal to your loyalty, right?
Yeah.
And you're not asking you. I don't in today's world. I don't ask people stick around, go pay $1,000, sit your butt back down, and we'll do it.
Right.
That's not what it is. It's more like, let me get you out of pain, let me take care of you, and then they will gladly go pay at the register after. You have to
always take care of the patient, right?
So the financial aspect of this whole thing should be second to your performance.
Right.
Because performance and success will make you financially successful one day.
You chase financial, you're never getting it right.
Right. You start counting all your money and counting all the balance sheets and looking through everything, and you're realizing it's not there because you're missing the first part. Be the change. Be successful. Do good for your people. You hit all three of those things, people will line up around the corner.
My biggest thing is you got to make sure you be of service to somebody.
Exactly.
And help them first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you get paid. Because I always believe in, like, if you are not willing to do more than what you're getting paid initially, you will never get paid more for what you do.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think a lot of that's just there's all these groups out there, these dental groups, that they focus on money. And they focus on how much does this associate job pay? How much? It's some of the more popular ones, even.
Exactly.
It's common threads of discussion.
And it's giving the new grads the wrong idea.
Money this, money that.
Correct.
You don't make high money unless you're doing high volume or doing great work, and you can't do those things unless you have proven it.
Exactly.
Experience. So it's like we're working in reverse. You're looking at the end result, like a finished home on an empty lot.
Right.
You got to plan the whole thing. You got to get the blueprint down and lay the foundation.
Exactly.
So it's very misleading, and
I 100% agree.
And the mentorship is that third leg, right?
Correct.
You have to have someone who's willing to push your boundaries, who's willing to constantly say, hey, I'm taking this course, you should come with, or we're bringing implants into our practice, you should learn, it would be really good for us.
Right.
Because that's that mindset of what we talked about even earlier, that push on the shoulder forward, to always go the extra mile and grab that extra procedure and do the extra service for your patient and not be complacent.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You know, I'm going to go back to the after graduation, like after the first job that you had. You called us, right? I mean, you found me through LinkedIn or something.
I did.
Right. So there were other opportunities, other DSOs that's being like hands-up bonuses, right? And you saw those work conditions. You saw what was happening. And I'm talking about like 5-digit bonuses, right?
Yeah.
What made you decide to skip all that and come here?
Well, for me, it was never really about the money. And the reason I say that, it was never about the money for me, because what was happening was I was seeing 2-3 patients a day and not learning anything. I could have worked for 8 hours and see 3 people. It was like dental school all over again. But I realized that I was a small fish in a big pond.
Okay.
I was a new graduate in a sea of Michigan graduates. I don't stand out to anybody or anything. I got to earn my stripes just like the rest of them.
Right.
So I had a paradigm shift in my brain. I was fed up at work one day. I'm like, I saw one patient at 9 a.m. and my shift was 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. One patient did 3 hygiene checks for almost 12 hours, right?
Wow.
And I thought to myself, today you take charge of your life and you figure it out. It's not working out. You got to do, it's month 4, it's not working out. They're not even giving you the chance to build yourself here. And what I did was, I had family, my grandparents, who lived in Michigan City, Indiana. Indiana is, for a kid from Detroit, Michigan, you're like, nobody's out there. And I went to Michigan. So if I go to Indiana, I say I went to Michigan, I'm a big fish in a small pond.
Right.
There's not many Michigan graduates out there, I think. You know, at the time, I'm like, there's nothing, there's nobody. And I could see some crazy cases and do some things. So I went in the area and I started applying people on LinkedIn, and I found your ad. And I applied for a Northwest Indiana lead associate position, like I was going to get that, right? And the tiger, I remember this day. It was fall, or beginning to become fall. It was like early August. It was a cool, crisp afternoon, and the Tigers were on television. And I closed my laptop, and I was about to crack a beer because I was just I was bored. I wasn't doing anything.
Right.
And I was, I was just ready to end my night and do that. And then I walk onto the patio and I get a call from an 815 number, and I went, it said Peoria, Illinois on it. And I'm like, interesting. That might be where I just applied to. And it was 7 minutes and 45 seconds after I applied. And it was you. on the other line.
Right. Yep. I remember.
And we had a 1.5 hour conversation about mindset and goals and what you could do for me, which is something I had never heard. Right? I'm striking out, and what you could do for me, how we could benefit each other. These are topics we talked about, and we hadn't even met. And my takeaway was he sees an opportunity to grow something, and that's a bigger deal than what I'm going, because right now I'm striking out. Right now it's your ability doesn't match your skill set, and this is the problem.
Yeah, one of those things that I like to check out is, your frequency, where you're at, right? Where are you at? Where your mindset is at? Do you like to win?
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm all about like winning. We want to have a winning team, and this is how we always achieve our goals.
Right.
Right. And you had that in you.
And I was just.
And then what happened? I asked you to come down to Peoria, right?
So I didn't know you much at the time, but you'd ask me, "What can you interview?" And I said, "Yeah, what can you interview?" You go, "Can you do tomorrow?" I go, "Yeah, where do you want to meet?" I'm thinking it's Chicago, 4 hours, or Northwest Indiana, 3 hours. You go, "Peoria, Illinois." And I went, "Well, I thought this job was for Northwest Indiana." It is. I own that office, but I'm headquartered out of Peoria. That's where I work tomorrow. And you're telling me all the ways I could get there, and it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I said, "You know what? I had like 3 days off work in a row." I said, "I'll be there. I'll make it happen." And we set it for 10 o'clock in the morning. I said, "You know what? I'll be there." And I hang up the phone and I look at my dad, who had taken me to all my dental school interviews, and I said, "Get in the car. We're going to Peoria, Illinois tonight." But we broke up the drive. We got to about Chicago area.
Right.
And went in from there in the morning. So about 3 hours. So it was about a 9-hour total trip.
Right.
And we're driving there, and he's like, "Alex, why do you want to do this? Your whole life is in Michigan. Your family's here. Your education has been here. Your parents are here. Your friends are here. Why do you want to do this?" I said, "There's something about that conversation that I just had to see it through." Right. Yeah. And that was the only thing that I was going out there on a see it through mindset.
Not knowing
anything about Peoria. I couldn't even find Peoria, Illinois on a map, to be honest with you, before that. And when I get there and I saw your office and you showed me all the facilities and all, the standard stuff. And then me, you, and Dr. Joffrey, who was the other owner of Secure Dental, we sat down, we had a good talk about where I'm at and what you guys could see in me, which is something I've never heard before. And we went out to lunch at a neighboring restaurant there. And we just had another...
It was wild. Like you drove all the way from Detroit. Yeah.
And we just had a talk, and nobody offered me a job or anything. And you just kept saying, "So when do you want to start?" I'm like, as a kid, just fresh out of dental school, I'm like, does that mean I got it? Does that mean we're doing this? And I get in the car, and my dad had been driving around Peoria doing whatever, hanging out for the day. And I looked at him and I said, "There's something about this opportunity I have to take. And I can't tell you what it is. There was like this force of attraction in my mind that I said, if I do this, I will be great. If I stay where I'm at, I won't." And it was like, that was the entire 9-hour car ride home. I just kept telling him, I said, something about this feels like if I don't do this, I'll regret it forever.
It's a frequency match, man.
Right. And I was like, I will regret this decision for the rest of my life if I don't do it. I just know it. And I got there and I called you and I said, "All right, what do I have to do?" You said, "Apply for your Illinois license and apply for Indiana license." So once I got them, I put in my 2 weeks. I moved to this area on a whim. No family, nobody. My grandparents live an hour away from me because it was the closest to Portage, where you guys hired me out of.
So where were we staying at that time?
I was in Chicago.
Okay.
Because it was centrally located, and I said, "You know what? If they need me to go to any of their offices, I could get there from there."
Right.
Any of them. And I saw the Davenport ones, the Rock Island, Moline, Springfield. Because at that point, when I was alone and working, I said, you just came from a job where you weren't given the opportunity. So now what you're going to do is change your whole mindset, and you're going to work 6 days a week. You're going to give it everything you got and take any hours they'll give you and push it every day. Challenge yourself.
Right.
Consistently do a procedure you're not doing. Just like we talked about in our interview. And you guys told me in the interview, if you work hard for 6 months, you won't believe where you are where you came from 6 months ago. And I took that to heart. So I'll let you talk about this if you want. I get it. It's about end of August and I start working for you. And, I'd done 2 root canals all at dental school. And you drove up because you guys are mentors. And we did like doctors meetings and cloud-based learning suite, cloud-based software. And I talked to you guys. I called you up and I said, I got like this guy who needs 8 root canals. And they're all covered by state insurance. And we accepted it.
And what did we do? We opened them all up.
Dr. Liu drove down. You did. And you said, I'll be there tomorrow. Just make sure he's numb. So I numbed him up and you got there and we opened every single tooth up and did all 8 root canals, and you showed me the workflow and how you're overthinking. You could be overthinking steps and underthinking steps, and how you can be more efficient and streamlined. And that was that one day, and I'll never forget it, that I realized I made the right choice. I made the right choice. I put all my eggs in this basket, and I watched myself push 8 root canals out on one guy in 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Tell about that story when you were working in the Davenport, the Rock Island office.
Right. So and that was the other thing too, is it was a newer office than Northwest Indiana you hired me into. And you said that you wanted me to kind of like experience growing a practice. It was the closest thing I could get to opening my own. Be in there and growing, see what happens. And that was unique, but I called you and Dr. Joffrey and I said, I'd really like some more hours.
Yeah.
And you said, well, this is going to be a stretch, but we need some help for about 4 months in Rock Island. It's a busy office. We don't have a doctor. Would you do 2 days a week there? And I said, you know what? Sure. So I would work for you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday here in the greater Chicago area.
Yeah.
And on Wednesday night, I had an overnight bags ready to go. I'd leave from work and go straight to the hotel in Rock Island, 3-hour drive. Work there Thursday, Friday, drive home Friday night.
See, the reason I'm spending so much time here is I'm just trying to get a point across that it takes a grind, it takes grit, it takes commitment, it takes discipline, and it takes accountability to
self-realization.
Exactly.
That was the real thing. Is like when I told you, is like I had just come from a job where I was like frustrated. And the real frustration with me was I wasn't getting a chance. And the dental school thing was proven. And now it's like I'm not proving anything to anybody.
Right.
And I've made it. Right? So I just wanted the chance to prove myself all over again. And that first job experience propelled me into everything I had done thereafter. And I didn't even realize it. So we did this thing, and I worked for you, seeing 50 patients a day on those Thursday, Fridays, and growing this other side, which was really starting to get traction.
Right.
And, it was one of those things when you would come up there, because Rock Island was closer to you, and I would tell you, we'd go over my schedule on the Wednesday night before. I'd say, hey, I got this lady, I think she's got a bunch of bombed out teeth and we need to get them out. And you went, well, they're front teeth and it's all covered by state aid. Why don't you just try to do some root canals and get her out of pain for a little bit and see if it works? So same thing. I come in and then you're with me and we're starting to do time study. We're starting to do you're going to be alone here, but you don't want to take all day. So let's shoot for a target time. Let's test ourselves and monitor how efficient we are, how effective we are, all these things. And we did that with, and then the next patient was an 8 and 9 crown prep. And in dental school, you get 3.5 hours to prep a tooth, let alone
in real life, right?
In real life, you just reminded me, someone might be coming here on their lunch break. That's an hour, right? This is pre-COVID. So that's very true. Work 9 to 5, 1 hour lunch.
True.
And I told you, we were sitting there one day after the patient and you said, all right, you have your 8 and 9 coming up. How long do you think it's going to take you? I shot out modestly, 45 minutes. And you wrote the number 5 on the sticky note. You said, I want the preps done in that time, both of them. And I got it done in 17 minutes and I thought I was a champion. And the reality is what you taught me is push the boundary, push yourself, right? Grab that extra mile.
I got to say one thing though. Every single time I challenged you, you lived up to it.
Well,
it's your growth curve was like that.
But it took the right person to sit there and tell me you have to be better than
but you had it in you. And that's one thing that, we're so proud of because you took everything to the heart and you got it done and you made sure that, let's get the results in.
Yeah. And it really came from watching you do it. I watched you do it. So you weren't just saying this arbitrary number that you wouldn't do yourself.
Right.
I watched you prep a crown in 10 minutes on a person in your column that day. You said, come here, watch. And you put the timer on, you click the timer, and you prepped it up, and you said, all right, take the impression. And it was 9 minutes and 42 seconds. And you said, I would never tell you to do something I don't think is realistic. And then we did it. So it wasn't just like these fake numbers that you're trying to get me to do so you could make more money as an employer. You were truly trying, and I could see it, to show me that this is a realistic route you could run, and it's for your benefit and our benefit.
Correct.
You'll be a better dentist, and we will help each other.
You know, the whole time when we prep our doctors, it's just so that when they're at their own office, they're not struggling.
Right.
They're not struggling patient-wise, they're not struggling financially, they're not struggling with any kind of team members. Even at the end of the day, these guys are just out there killing it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the mindset that we want you to have. And that's the mindset where you go like, hey, you know what, this is not the work ethics for the masses.
Yeah. It takes a different cut of the cloth, right?
Exactly.
And you guys have done such a good job in your offices with, you know, you got a great management team. You have a front office, back office set, meaning like you have an insurance person, you have accounting teams, you have office managers, you have a staff that reports indirectly and directly to certain people, and you just have a nice structure that really allows for a dentist to go in there and just do your job, rely on your team relies on you, and it's really harmonious. Those are the things that a lot of private practice offices struggle with. The dentist burns out. How often do we hear that? Or the staff is unhappy because some other person is calling the shots. It's not the doctor.
It's usually the doctor and the wife is the manager.
Right. Which can work, and I'm not saying it can work, I'm just saying the model that you've instilled is the model for true growth and teamwork and delegation. And that's the real key, because if you could take all those things and plug them into your office and create it, then you can replicate it.
You can replicate it easy.
But it just takes the...
You know all the stuff that we're just talking about right now, you can replicate it. Just, you know, success leaves clues.
Exactly.
Pick up all the clues and just copy it.
And there's a lot of learning too. A lot of learning. You know, you're never going to do everything right.
Oh, no.
And you're never going to do everything right.
We're still learning.
Yeah.
Right? It
Every
never
day.
stops. So now let's fast forward. Like, you know, the day when you got the grind done, like 4 years in.
Yeah.
And now, like the day when you were actually decided to, hey, you know, I want to get my own practice.
Well, I have been working with you and Dr. Joffrey for at this point, almost 3.5 years at that time. And you'd put me through implant CE. You taught me personally how to do implants, full arch, overdenture, root canals.
Yeah, we did them all together.
Orthodontics. And you had grown me over 3 years, because I've proven to you, at least I think so, is I'm willing to give it my all. And we can help each other.
Fast. You were so like fast at it, you know, like just.
But it came from that drive, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And when I was your associate, I would stay till 7, 8 at night. I was never the first one out. I was always the last one. I had my key on. I was setting the alarm at least 3 to 4 nights a week, because I didn't let notes go undone. I wanted to refresh, and you taught me this too. It's your next day starts the night before. You cannot leave anything into tomorrow. You automatically become unorganized. So your next day starts the night before. And I kept that every day I worked.
That's huge.
So I would stay. You even gave us the ability to do our notes to home, but I didn't want to.
Right.
I stayed at your office, did the notes, did all my lab slips, boxed them, packaged them, taped them up, and I'm ready on the manager's desk for the next day, because the night still had to be preparation for the first day tomorrow, first patient.
Right.
And we would always call it first patient mentality. If you can't maneuver your schedule and understand where the high value procedures are and the low value procedures are, what should be quick, what should take a little longer, what might take a little longer, somebody's coming in with a little problem that you might want to convert them and help them out into some service. Those are the things that you need to know the night before. You can't sleepwalk through that.
And see, this is a secret sauce.
Yeah.
If a lot of people ask like, hey, how do you make your dental office successful and more efficientized? Well, this is what we practice every single day in our office, but it all depends on the individual provider if they're willing to put in that work and that effort.
And I watched you guys do it. Right. Like I said, nothing you had done is something I never saw you not do yourself.
Correct.
So you were leading
always take
by
advice.
example.
You always take advice from someone who's doing it.
And you were leading by example. You weren't just saying do that and going home at 4 o'clock playing golf. You were doing it yourself, because we would have doctors meetings and we would do case discussion and all that stuff. And you're not doing that if you're not doing it yourself. So I had been doing that for 3.5 years, and we had been growing. And it was actually you that you sat down with me and we looked at our numbers at the end, and you say, you know what, like, this isn't the end for you. Like you could go on and do your thing. We can collaborate later, which ironically today is like the pinnacle of what we had talked about back in 2021.
Exactly.
And you'd kind of mentioned to me, you said, like it's, as an associate, I was doing in-network Medicaid accepting Indiana practice. We were doing $7,000 to $8,000 days and that's after adjustments, right? So after all that, we're working hard, we're doing it. And you kind of tapped me on the shoulder and you said, you should really start thinking about your next steps and how we can collaborate later. And that resonated with me, meaning like, you're never going to think you're ready. You're never going to know when you're ready, because my whole journey up to that point was prove it. But prove it to who? Like prove it to you? I didn't have to prove it to you. At that point, I guess I didn't realize I didn't have to. What I was failing to realize is that I had to prove it to myself.
Correct.
This whole time I had to prove it to me that I could do it. And when you told me that, it changed me. I was like, you know what? You have these skill sets. You're 3 years out of dental school. You're doing all around 4 as a general dentist. You're 3 years out of dental school and you're doing single unit implant placements in under a half hour. You're 3 years out of dental school and you're doing molar root canals and same day extractions, same day service, and converting on the spot and making it make sense financially, but not because that's what your focus is, because you're just worried about helping people and how to maximize your day.
Exactly.
So that whole thing.
I still remember a time where you did not even want to do any more of those.
Yeah, no, and you pushed me.
This is tough.
That was hard because, like in school, everything is so segmented. If it's not a anterior tooth, it should go in a specialist. But you said the only person that says a specialist is someone who doesn't want to do it or can't do it. But if you're comfortable doing it, there's nothing wrong with that. Just know when your limits are.
Right.
And you pushed me, and I did my first number 30, and I called you and said, look at the x-ray, I did it. And you go, well, how long did it take you? I said, 2.5 hours.
Right.
And you went, that's great. But remember, now you have to do it with the time frame. You did it, you got the first one done, now feed it every time.
Right.
And that was like a big thing too for me, because you could do these procedures, but if it takes you 8 hours to do it, then you're not going to be making as much as if you didn't do it at all.
Right.
So that's like the kind of thing where it's like, because when you own an operating office, you can't just think about yourself. Your staff is relying on you to provide. The patients are relying on you to see and be available, and the community is relying on you to be a strong pillar of business in the community. And if you're not successful, then that's waste.
All the stuff that we do in our office, everything that we do, time study, patient care, patient management, like speed, efficiency, it's all from a patient's perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when a patient walks in here, they want to see a confident, committed, and a dedicated doctor.
Exactly.
That's huge.
And it's kind of like your model when you guys morph your associates. And like, I say it to everyone to this day, like I wouldn't be where I am without Secure Dental. I wouldn't, and I still collaborate. I still try to mentor as many doctors as possible. I give them all my phone number. I try to just jump on all of our calls still, and give back because of what it gave to me. And I still to this day realize that some people who took the journey to private practice will remain in one lane. Because of my time at Secure Dental, I like have a 5-lane highway I drive every day. It could be a root canal, it could be crowns, it could be implants, it could be Invisalign, it could be denture. Exactly. But I rode that highway every day and I never looked back, and I pushed myself through your guys' teachings to just kind of stay disciplined and stay focused and push yourself to get better.
Yeah.
And that was one of those things that like a lot of people will have a negative connotation about DSO and corporate and it's ruining dentistry. And it's like,
it depends, right?
It depends, but it also is a wrong stigma.
Yeah.
Because what I was able to do during those 3 years is help a lot of people. And those people need care. Whether they can afford to go to a fee-for-service office and do the fancy stuff or not. Every patient has a different financial and personal scenario. And someone might be falling on a hard time that day, but could be a billionaire 3 years from now.
Exactly.
And you don't know. You don't know. So I was grateful for the patients who let me work on them. I tell my patients, I'd always end it with big cases. It was an absolute honor and a privilege to work on you. And they thought I was just insane for even saying that. But in my head, I would always say, you trusted me. On a simple note, it was never about money. You trusted me. You gave me a chance, and you put your life in my hands, from a dental perspective.
Correct.
And your well-being in my hands, and I was just grateful that they would even think that. And
you know what? See, here's the thing. You got the same. You have terrific work ethics.
Right.
And a lot of associates do also right now. But you got it once you open up your own office. You brought the same work value to your patients, to your office, to your team.
And it's also worth noting that when I was looking, you actively helped me look. You would say, hey, send me some of the pictures, or what's the doctor doing, or what you tell me things like, what should I be looking for? When you go into this office, this is what you need to be focused on. You need to have these kind of wits about you when you go to prep by, because you and Dr. Joffrey had multiple offices, so you could definitely be telling right in a heartbeat, this is good or this is bad, or this is what you should look for, you should look closer to this. And so the buck didn't really stop with you guys when I left, because even today, I still go to your office as an affiliate doctor and do big cases. We still work together, whether it's a full arch of implants or singles or helping a doctor out with veneers. I still am there as an affiliate to help.
But you know, one thing I really, really love about you is right after you left, sort of left, because you were still with us for about a year.
Yeah, I worked part-time.
Right? Yeah. So once you had your own office, the first year, you did exactly what I was advising you to do with marketing. You did not cheap out on marketing.
No.
You did not cheap out on staff.
No.
You know,
we doubled our staff size.
Correct. You even went ahead and got that via.
Yeah, they were very helpful.
Right, which is one of my, like side business, right? So you follow like everything through, and today, man, I mean, like I was looking at your numbers, you were showing me your numbers.
Mm-hmm. We've sold
15 days in, and by the way, the 3-on-6 you went to, you did not say, hey, you know what, I'm going to cheap out.
No.
You just invested, you went all in.
Yeah.
So I think that's the kind of mindset that it takes. Like you got to go all in.
And I was just about to say that. I've heard you say over probably the last 5 years, be all in.
Yeah.
In everything. Like, I mean, I've heard you say that probably 100 times. And I also have heard you say how you do everything is how you do anything.
Love
and those things, it's like when I look at success, I look at people like you and Dr. Joffrey. I look at my mentors like you two, and I say, if he's advising me to do something, it's because it worked. It's because through trial and error and his experience in your journey,
and you've realized I'm never going to tell you something which I've never done it myself.
Right.
Right.
And you would definitely tell me, I tried this and it didn't work. But you could try it and figure out for yourself if you think it's going to work for you. And you've given me advice like that. It didn't work so well for me, but if it works for you, let me know what we did differently. And
today we are looking at your numbers, right? How many arches?
In the last 2 months, I have either performed or planned 17 full arches of dentistry. And I'm only 4. I graduated dental school in 2019. It's 2023.
How many of your colleagues right now can say the same thing?
I can't say many.
Right.
I can't say many.
There may be, right? But not the masses.
No.
Not the masses.
And it was a full circle journey, because with you, in 1 year, so I did my trainings, implant formal trainings like you required.
Right.
You don't just let us go place implants. You required them to go and got a certification of some kind. So I did that. And in the first year, I did 150 single units with you in your office.
We have a goal.
We have 100 or 10 a month, and we beat it.
Yeah.
And every time we beat it, I bought the staff dinner.
Right.
Right. So that was my reward to them for trying to get people to double out implants. So we did that. And then the next year you said, all right, you got singles, let's do immediates. Let's do overdentures and let's do full arch. You challenged me to do 5 full arches in a year. 2 years out of dental school. You're telling me, as a general dentist, you're telling me to do 5 full arches, and we did 6. Me and you, we did 6.
Yeah, that's not bad. Like, just coming out of school like 2 years out.
Yeah, we did 6. And we had gone through some companies, we had done some stuff, and we may or may not use those companies today, but like we still got the leverage and repetition we needed. And even in my head, I'm like, gosh, I'm entering year 3 of my career. I've placed at this point over 200-300 implants, and I've rehabilitated several people from edentulous. That's when it started to click with me, is like, this was at a job that I took because I was just fed up.
Right.
This was at a job I took because of that force of attraction. This was at a job that I took because I felt that I would regret it if I didn't. And those were the moments where I just kept, as I realized it was a payoff, as I realized it was working, it drove me even more.
Right.
It worked. It's working, but don't stop now. Kind of like you said, all in.
All in, all the time.
And it's like, one thing I admire about you and Dr. Joffrey is you're always chasing the next thing. You're always looking at your own systems and it's not sitting at the pinnacle with your 11 offices and saying, we've done it and we're done.
Oh, never.
You're saying, how can we get better? And on our doctor's calls, you're always saying, like, we're going to try this. We're launching this. We're demoing this. We're doing this. And it's like, that to me is a very, I've only been owning for about a year and some change.
Keep going, right?
Yeah. And what it does to me is it motivates me to say, my mentors are in an always changing state. And they've been doing this for years. Oh. I have to maintain the same state of mind that they drilled into me.
Yeah, exactly.
I was with them every day.
What we're doing today is obsolete. It's all the stuff we did yesterday is obsolete by now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like we following the same suit. The other thing is being grateful, not being selfish.
And you guys have demonstrated that tenfold with your
because
associates.
For me, it's like, if you're going to be opening up an office, I know my past experience with all the colleagues that I know.
Yeah.
They're employees never help them open up an office.
Yeah.
It's always about like, how long can you stay here? What can we do to keep you down? You know what I mean? My mentality is, let's keep growing the pie and let's give the new guys coming in a chance.
Yeah.
Let's keep growing. Let's keep growing. Everybody keep growing. And that's what I call qualifiers. Like, once when you learn something, hey, let's pass it on.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys have just demonstrated that with your associates beyond belief. I mean, for example, you onboarded with Neodan. And that was me collaborating with you after. So when I left, I found Neodan and I said, we really should.
You're the one who brought it up.
Yeah.
Right? But, the thing is, they were trying to get through the door for the longest time.
Exactly.
But when you brought it up, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's give them a try.
And I told you guys, I said, they offer this leg, or they pitched me this leg that wouldn't really apply to me, but it might apply to you.
Yeah.
About this educational overhaul they do.
Yeah.
And our big thing was, how do we get every associate playing at a very high level and doing procedures, getting comfortable with them? And that was one of those things when I heard that, I said, I didn't just say, well, I'm done with Dr. Liu, I'm not going to tell him. I called you that night and I said, you should really give these guys more consideration.
But you were talking about these guys even before when you were with us.
I just heard from friends of friends.
Right.
Company. I did, and some of my cohorts, people were saying, Neodan's a great implant for what you're doing. And I said, sure, I'd love to give them a shot maybe one day when I'm on my own. And when I found out about this whole other leg, I said, associate enrichment is at the heart of your business, your model. And these guys are willing to train.
Oh yeah, it was a no-brainer.
And then you invited me to those trainings, which I was super grateful for. And I was also invited to be a faculty mentor at one of those live patient things. I never thought in a million years I'd be training other people, but to see the educational and watch your associates come from all corners of your offices and learn and do demo surgeries and live patient surgery, all within a short amount of time, and do endo courses and ortho courses. It's like, that was the real pinnacle that I saw. You are willing to give back to your associates. You're willing to invest in them for long or short term. It didn't matter. You didn't ask us, well, how long are we sticking around? I'm not going to put you in that course. You're going to leave tomorrow. You just say, let's do it. Let's grow. Because you have something to gain out of that too. Because what you're doing is bringing in value to the industry.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we have this associate pool of associates coming in, right? Mm-hmm. My job is to make them trained, right? They got to be trained. It's better that they get trained and stay with us than not being trained and staying with us.
Right.
I mean, we did have a few that, right after training, they left.
But that was also good because
that's fine.
You found out the capabilities of how far you could push somebody, and you found out maybe it wasn't the right fit. And if a training is the way it becomes not the right fit, that's probably the best thing.
Which is fine. Because for us, it's all about like being grateful and making sure we provide value.
Of course.
Where we go.
Of course.
And the funny part is, you and I, we attended other courses.
Yeah.
But we still learned a whole bunch here as well.
I remember going around to some of those talks. I said, well, you guys got in 2 days. Took me several tens of thousands of dollars and months to accrue. And I reminded them all, this is an unbelievable experience.
Correct. And so good. And for me, it was an eye-opener because I've been placing implants for the last, 12 years?
Yeah.
Right? I learned something new. Even I learned something.
We changed our whole bone graft because of that.
Right.
Like we were using a certain type of graft, and this Dr. Bruno Arnaud told us about all those new techniques, and you and I both called our bone graft person. We said, "This is our new product. This is what we're going with," because when you learn something and you like take that in your skill set, it was unbelievable. So when I got this place, I transitioned with all the things you had already taught me.
Okay.
But on a smaller scale. I take it over for a practice that was very limited, just general dentistry.
And they were referring everything out.
Everything, pretty much, baby teeth extractions even.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I brought it in slowly, like I had to buy the equipment and then train my staff on every procedure I was going to do. I did my first implant here for free, just to get one through the door and show them the workflow.
Right.
Then I had to bring in the reps and show them the products and show, and like sift through our own products and get that, because I already had my numbers and metrics that you had instilled in me from day one as an associate. You always give us targets, where we got to be, what we got to do, and how much we got to see to be effective. Because there's a helping people side, but there's also a business side, and you have to be in tune with both. So I was in tune with that early on, and I transformed this place from about $500,000 a year to 1.2 million in my first 9 months.
Yeah.
Now this year, we're on track to double that.
Exactly.
Through taking those systems and making them efficient, right? But what I'm saying is the biggest takeaway and the biggest thing I did for this place was delegate. I joined Dentvia. I hired an insurance coordinator.
Right. You did not do everything yourself.
I empowered my staff to be financial managers, true managers. I doubled my staff size. I trained my assistants to do more than just be assistants. My hygienists make their own schedule. I loop everyone into production.
So you kind of give them a little bit of autonomy as well, right?
They all have autonomy. I taught them that the standard is the standard.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing about this place is when the office wins, you win. So we are all a team, meaning like if we're doing well, my team will see the results of that.
Right.
It's not just me, it's everyone. So they're all looped in. If the business is thriving, they will also grow into this one.
So we got the strategy part. I have this 80-20 rule where 80% is psychological, 20% is strategy, right? You dialed in really, really good. What about that 80%? Like, what was going through your mind when you were delegating, when you were spending money, or you were investing in marketing, you were paying those payroll coming up? What was your thing? Because a lot of people, they get stuck right there. And I want you to kind of touch base a little bit so that it can help somebody unlock that mindset.
So my biggest thing, okay, was the real difficult point is that as a new owner, you have a lot of debt.
Yes.
Debt servicing. Like I'm up in the 7 figures in debt.
Absolutely.
On building or over 25 years, or you name it, because buying these things and owning these things is not.
Because you never had that kind of money debt before,
No, I mean, dental school's like a running tab. They just keep loading it out.
Right.
So that's its own thing in its own way.
How did you overcome that? Thinking that you got to make this work with the unknown and not knowing the certainty.
Because I obviously I had you, right? I had advice to say, like, just keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Like, do work, success follows. It was always in the back of my mind. The same teaching you were talking all those years ago. Do work, success follows. So what I would do, or what I was able to do, was understand the value these things brought. So I worked for you. You did marketing. We did these things, and you saw what came in.
Yeah.
It's like a leap of faith.
Okay.
First, like one of the sayings I love, and I do this every time I start a new market or a new product, is faith is taking the first step without seeing the entire staircase.
Exactly.
Right? And that is like when you try a new product, you don't see the end of the road. You don't know if it's good or bad, but you got to have faith. Same thing with marketing. I launched a few marketers. I put my name out there and my few payrolls. Like, the first couple months were hard. I was in the red. You're in the red because you got a lot of bills. You're paying staff. You're not making money right away. Your name's not out there. Your schedule's not full.
Is that scary?
It's very scary. And I remember having calls with my accountant, like, is this going to work? Am I going to make it? Like, why am I bleeding chips? And then I realized that all that faith I put in, all that money I was paying towards marketing and all those things you told me, at month 3, it started to, the scale started to go this way, right? Like it was red. Now it was starting to come up. And then that was the time where it's like, prove it. Get in there and prove your worth. Get those Google reviews. Get good service. focus on taking care of people and just what they say about you.
Exactly.
And then I didn't even worry about financials. A lot of these things, I was just saying, pay me when it's over. Pay me when you're happy, but let me take care of you first. Got through there. And then I realized at the end of that first year, I'm looking back and I'm running through all my numbers and a month progression. And I was like, you know, it all started with that mentality of just take care of somebody. And then they'll tell their three friends
Before getting paid.
before getting paid. And it's not to say that even right now, it's like I'm a year in was a change. My debt servicing is still high, you know? Like
It is.
we did a remodel, we did a new equipment, we got the building loan, the price loan. So it's not like I'm sitting here telling you that like I have it all made after a year. There's a lot of more work to do. And a lot of
always going.
And a lot of the money I do make is reinvested into the business for it to grow, reinvest in my employees for them to grow, and paying off the debts on the building. So
Absolutely.
but you have to see the success and you have to grow and grow and grow and watch the place start to generate and continuously invest. When I worked for you part-time, that first year I worked here, I took 0 paydays from you. I said, if I work for Dr. Liu and I do high volume there like I do my whole time, I know I can pay my rent and pay my car and put food on my plate. That was it. That was all I cared about. And then I just constantly would let this place invest in itself and let it grow.
Put the seed in, which a lot of people are not wanting to do.
Yeah.
They want to start pulling money day one.
Yeah.
You know, faith, I love what you just said, man. Faith, for me, faith is like seeing the invisible,
Yeah.
believing in the incredible,
Yeah.
and what the masses would call it the impossible.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's where you and your team live by. That's what I learned for 3 years with you. And like,
You gotta see through the noise. You have to see the invisible, which is not visible yet.
I wouldn't be sitting here today telling you about this if it wasn't for you and everything that you guys had done and all the mindset.
It's all right here.
Right.
Right here.
And I can tenfold now. You know, I'm doing procedures where like, I mean, you're getting sticky situations, but I just remember your training, like uncomfortable, comfortable.
Yeah.
You can't let it slip now. You got to think, improvise, pivot, be strong in the mind. Like your mindset and your feelings have to come second. Like your emotions and feelings are buried when you are trying to do that thing that's making you feel comfortable. Because if you let that get through your mind, it's like a sickness. It'll
You're done, man. You're done. Yep.
And you taught me that a long time ago. Is the mental
and I'll look at you now, right? You believe in yourself. Your awareness level has gone from here to here.
And that's, I think, what the biggest focus problem of a new graduate is. Like I told you, it's very easy to get shook.
Yeah.
And your awareness is low. And you haven't been doing this long enough to see the picture in front of you, what's around you. And it's very easy to get scared and intimidated. Right?
Absolutely.
So like these new graduates and like the advice I'd give them is exactly what you gave me. I wouldn't change a thing. It's stay tough. Keep your emotions second to your mindset. Your mindset is the sharpest thing in your toolbox. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. It could be pushing yourself all in every day. And I mean, that's what you guys tell all your associates, and it really does resonate. It's a unique position to be in. And I'm a living testament to it, you know? 3 years with you, 4 years out of school, and here we are.
If you believe in yourself, everything is possible.
Yeah. And
that's the whole name of the game.
It's been a ride, and like I don't really know how else to. So I guess like quantifying what could be out there, because it's like that thing I told you is like I'm on step 2 of the staircase and I can't see the end. Mm-hmm. I just have a lot of faith that like my teachings and my mentorship that you've given me, and
you know what? Any step you go with the same mindset and you're willing to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you will always get to the next level.
Yeah. And you've been saying that from day one, right?
Yeah.
And your story motivated me. You know, the whole getting denied from several dozens of dental schools, the working at Dental Dreams for 5 years, the opening dental practice, going bankrupt, to taking 50% interest loans out just to pay your staff during the financial crisis.
Right.
I mean, it's never easy. We're looking it up, right? Like 11
you always got to ride the tsunami. And still today, we are still riding the tsunami, right? You never stop. You don't stop.
I think a lot of times people will look at you and say, you got it made, right? Like you, Dr. Liu, you got it made. You got it.
What do we always say, man?
Yeah.
Like when you wake up, it's like you're broke.
You've told me that from the minute I met you, is you got to wake up like every day's blank.
Exactly.
You don't have a bank account. You got to make one, right? Like, so
you got to start from scratch.
And that to me is like, I look at you and I look at everything you've done, and what people forget to realize, they don't ask you, well, how'd you get there? Did you ever go through a problem? And you have gone through plenty, but people don't ever focus on that because they think this is all given, right? They think this is all supposed to be given.
Or we just received it, right?
Exactly. Like your dad was a dentist or something.
Yeah. Or some story which doesn't make any sense. You see, here's the thing. The future has not been written yet.
Yeah.
And you can never, ever, predict a future based on the past.
Yeah, exactly.
So whatever you've done in the past should not even be anything close to what your future is holding it, because your future is going to be like 10 times more. So that's what I believe, and that's what I feel for you.
Yeah.
Like this course you took, 3 on 6.
Yeah.
You didn't need anybody's help. You just went in yourself. You invested in yourself. You believed in yourself. You saw the outcome. You saw the goal that what's going to do for you.
Yeah.
And I look at today, what's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
We got people traveling from all over Wisconsin,
exactly.
Cincinnati, St. Louis, here, Indiana.
Exactly.
I'm covering 4 or 5 states right now.
And man, that's like self-awareness 10x.
Yeah, and those are the teachings you gave us, man. And there's nothing, and this goes back to the full circle. Like, there is nothing you haven't said to me that you haven't done yourself.
But you took it to the heart and you took it to the next level.
That's also part, right? You expect that when you give someone advice, that they will heed the advice and apply it in their own way. But that's just what you hope for, right?
That's always the case, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's what you hope for.
So anyways, this was a good segment, man. I mean, I think we can definitely collaborate quite a bit.
Well, yeah, and like you said, the beginning is now. It's not just because I used to work for you and all this stuff is over. It's
the beginning is now. Absolutely.
The beginning is now. How are we now going to take each other's skill sets, wisdom, mindsets, and move it forward?
Because it's so much easier to relate with you right now because of the same frequency, the same mindset, and the same vision.
It all goes back to that car ride, right? I had my dad where I said there's something about like this.
There you go, man.
Law of attraction that I have.
Exactly.
Right? Like, if I don't do this, I regret it. And I could safely say, sitting here, I live here now. I've made a reputation out here. My family's still in Michigan, but I don't regret it for a second.
Are you happy?
Yeah. Most importantly, I don't go to work.
Yeah.
I help people every day of my life.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So that's there's no better feeling.
All right, good deal.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. So, Dr. Shore, everyone, this is Dr. Noel Liu checking out. Make sure to like, subscribe, and this is our NFL podcast. Have a good one, everyone.